Okay, we're at one of the last breeding sites for the Pacific chorus frogs in the city limits of San Francisco, and we're in an old spring-fed cut on Potrero Hill, and this is on private land, and the owners here have allowed us to set up what we call the San Francisco Pacific Chorus Frog Rescue Project, and they've allowed us to set up tanks. Well, let's go look at the pools. And if you take a look at the hill up here, you'll see it's all rock, and Potrero Hill was mostly rock, and in the rain it saturates with water and it drips and seeps, so that these puddles are not just rain puddles, they're actually spring-fed seeps full of spring water, and that's just perfect for the Pacific chorus frogs. And if you look over here, these are 50-gallon breeding tanks that we've set up, that we've been putting the eggs and tadpoles in, and we're going to actually make arrangements, and we have found several new locations where we can actually restart these in other places so we can collect eggs next year, and we can actually begin to expand the Pacific chorus frog population. And but right here in this pool is a spring-fed pool, and we probably collected about 500 or 600 eggs from this pool, which we can't leave here because all of these pools are full of dragonfly nymphs, and they will eat all of the tadpoles. Right now, we left probably about 150 eggs in here, and you see very few tadpoles in here. We'll look at another spot in a moment that we dug out this spring that didn't have dragonfly nymphs in it. It's got 250 tadpoles in it right now. So, can we get over here? I don't know if we can see these guys. They're in here. Yeah, kind of mushy. I don't know if we can. Received over 200 eggs just from the tops of these screens in all of these different tanks, in addition to the eggs that we put in here. And like I say, we have to raise the eggs and tadpoles separately.
Where is it?
Right here.
Okay.
See that little gelatinous mass? I think they've mostly hatched out. There might be a couple in there.
Okay, hold on.
See, there's one in there.
Can you just point to it again?
Right here.
Okay.
You see that? Here's another one right here.
Wait, just stay with that.
Okay. Here's another one right here. Can you see that?
Okay.
Okay. Here's another one right. That might be easier to see. That one right there. You see that little like jelly mass that's wiggling? Here's a bigger one right here on the plants. So for these frogs to mate successfully, they have to, for them to breed successfully, they have to have the vegetation that can support the weight of the female and the male. When they're in amplexus, the male grabs onto her, so she has to have enough weight to support both of their weights, and then something to attach the eggs on, either a shallow pool or the right kind of vegetation. And this vegetation is worked out very well. It isn't actually native to this particular location. This is a water primrose from the East Bay that we've been found is very successful with the frog.
Can you talk about the frogs and where they were before?
Oh, well, that's one of the things. When I was a kid, there were millions, literally millions of these Pacific chorus frogs in the Bay Area, all over the Bay Area. They used to live in any open space. They don't really live in the creeks. Our creeks are storm drains now, and there's way too much current for them. It'll blow the eggs out or the tadpoles out even in a small rain, because the water that's collected in a storm drain is much more intense than in a natural stream. But they're attracted to them. The frogs will be attracted to them and actually can act as a biological trap. So the kind of place they need is a place just like this, where there's no current, it's clean, spring-fed water, it's open, and these places are very rare now because they've all been filled in because of mosquito abatement. We have almost, and by the way, we have no mosquitoes in here because of the dragonflies. The dragonfly nymphs are excellent mosquito abaters, but they also eat tadpoles. So they'll eat all the tadpoles and all the mosquitoes, and then eventually they'll even eat each other if there's nothing left to eat in here. But so if we want to, we have to step in and kind of manage these guys artificially if we want to bring them back. If we just left them here, most of them would be eaten. There'd probably be very few froglets. even though there's so many eggs here. And right now we have probably anywhere between 800 and 1,000 eggs and tadpoles in these tanks here, plus these we'll show you over here. Okay. Okay, are we on now?
200 or 300?
You know, it comes down. That's... You getting it?
You want to talk about the tadpoles?
Okay, this is a little spring-fed pool. It is artificial. We dug this out. Some of the employees here at this company told us that there were frogs calling right here. So a friend and I came down here in about an hour and a half and dug this pool out. And this is, can you look over here? This is actually spring-fed. We can see it running right here into this. This is coming from the hill. This is actually a natural spring. You see that? Yeah, it's coming in here. This actually is coming right from the hill. So because we dug this out this year, there were no dragonfly nymphs in here. And we collected about 300 eggs from these little pools, plus we left about 250 eggs in here. And the other day I counted about at least 250 tadpoles in this series of pools right here. Now we can leave these here, or we may collect them and use them in a new location. So far, so good. We haven't had any problems with raccoons or anything predating. That would be the only issue with something like this, is if we have raccoons in the area, they will come in and eat them. And we don't want that to happen. Are we still on here? There's one more thing about this pond around the corner. Since we built this little pond and got them to breed in here, during the rains, some of the frogs have actually bred around the corner for the first time. Anyway, we found another 200 tadpoles right out of here. When this started to dry up, we came over here and caught them. And we would have lost all of them. But you see this rain puddle, we've had a big rain here just last week. So this thing is filled up dry again, and there's still more tadpoles in here. I saw some more in there. So no telling how many more tadpoles we have in there. So by creating one place here, artificially, we actually expanded a place that's already been here so that we can actually catch more eggs. And what we're trying to do here is get a lot of eggs and a lot of tadpoles, because it takes anywhere from 50 to 100 just to do a little backyard pond to establish a backyard breeding colony. But if we wanted to do a bigger place, we might want to do like 200 or 300. And some of the places we found over in the Presidio, we'd probably want to use maybe 300. And we'll be able to do that now because we have, 1,000 tadpoles or so, and maybe more. I'd like to go check down here further down and see if we've gotten any new eggs. We were having new eggs all the way up until last week, brand new, still breeding.
All right.
So the little guy we just caught over at Islais Creek is going to go right here, and we're going to put him in down here, sort of further down away from the main body of him, because he looks young to me. And when they're young, they really can't compete with the older males. So what we'll do is hopefully he'll find a younger female, and which they have done. We had caught two frogs before this. One was called Izzy. He was the first one after Islais Creek, and the other one was called Dizzy, because he was jumped out after the backhoe had removed where he was staying, and he was hopped out on the dirt. And so we called him Izzy and Dizzy. And Dizzy was younger than Izzy, and I kept both of them alive at home in a terrarium for several months until they picked up age, until they started calling. And Dizzy had a distinctive call, really soft little call, but he wasn't as big as Izzy. So we put him way down here by himself, and he actually, I think, found a female, because there are no eggs in between Dizzy and the rest of this area here. So we think he successfully bred, and that was really, really good news.
Great. Should we walk
And
down?
yeah, let's go down there. We can turn. Those are probably young females. The young females are smaller than older females, and their egg clusters are smaller. So that's probably last year's girls, and they came in the first year, which is maybe 8 months after they were tadpoles.